United built up versus what looked like a 4-4-2 press, but was actually more of a 4-3-3 or a 4-3-1-2, where the near-sided City wide midfielder narrowed to pressure the United centre-back, pressing towards the opposite touchline, or both wide midfielders man-marked the United centre-backs, which left the United fullbacks free, testing Mary Earps' distribution. On United's left-hand side, Toon kept positioning at left wing to allow greater flexibility positionally for Russo and Galton, allowing them to both swap and push higher. On the right-hand side, Paris narrows A to playmate, but B to make a run from the blind spot of Wahhabi in behind. United's 2-3 or 3-2 midfield had the fullbacks push up alternatively, especially Battier, very lethal when she follows up play. Russo acted as the focal point, with Toon typically floating in that left-hand side. Ladd and Zellem were extremely aggressive in counter-pressing to create transitions in City's defensive third. City built up where United man-marked, especially once City had passed to either side. This was likely why City's fullbacks individually or both inverted to allow the City number 8s to be able to drop either side to help. Further to this, Roebuck essentially played as a third centre-back. City were also happy to play those long balls early for the four forwards running in behind. After the red card, City played long to Shaw often in various positions with runners working off her flick-ons, and played a 3-3-1 or 3-2-1-3 midfield possession shape. Before we get into the examples, don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoy the video, consider sharing on social media and subscribing. With that, let's get into it. Okay, we're starting here with the 4-2-3-1 press for United against essentially the 2-3 for Man City. We've got one of the number 8s dropping to support the deep build-up, but tracked diligently. United are able to win the ball off Angle Dahl, but then City win possession back, and immediately Ladd is in on that counter press aggressively, which allows this scenario to develop, taking advantage of the transitional positions of the two fullbacks for City. And Hasegawa is able to clear the ball, and United set up in their 2-4-2-3 deep shape versus the 4-3-1-2 shape for Man City, where we have our wide midfielders pushing up, looking to try and put some pressure here, with the United fullbacks being free if Mary Earps is able to find them. And so we see that initial ball out here into Battier, where City are now able to close in on her. Fortunately for United, that leaves their centre-back free, and they're able to retreat there, and then they do the exact same move again, back out into Battier, who then plays this lovely ball down the line for Paris, running from that blind spot in behind and whipping in a delicious ball for Galton back post. This desire to create transitions for United was both bust and a boon, because it creates great opportunities like this, but also a lot of chaos. Moving on to the 10th minute, we've got a nice example of United's left-hand side rotation, specifically with regards to Galton, Russo and Toon, looking to test the decision-making of that right-hand side of City's defence. United are able to maintain possession despite City's pressure and pass inside for Ladd, but then Laetitia just brings the ball straight back out to that left-hand side for them to try again. Again, note the position of Russo, Galton here at centre forward and Russo here at left wing, creating the opportunity for United to be able to play quickly, dynamically down that left-hand side, as Morgan has been dragged inside by Toon's positioning. Unfortunately, United aren't able to take advantage of that space, and City win a throw-in. And then from the throw-in, City are able to rotate possession towards that left-hand side in that 2-3 shape again, and then they're able to play up this left-hand side channel. This movement where we have the wide midfielder dropping to try and drag out the Manchester United fullback and create a 1v1 in this left-hand side channel was a regular occurrence, where they could drag Laetitia out there through whether it was this run by Coombs or by Bunny Shaw, leading to some dangerous opportunities, but on this occasion it was defended and City are able to get a throw in. But we get to see a little bit of that inverted fullback I mentioned earlier here, specifically Esme Morgan, where she's really become central here, which of course allows like quite an easy pass out here to the right hand side, but City rotate the ball back to this left hand side again, with Greenwood firing the ball through the lines. This was something that City really relied on for progression. Fortunately, United are able to defend that. City have another throw-in wherein they retreat all the way back to the goalkeeper, and we get to see that 2-3 shape again, with Esme Morgan again inverting to help Hasegawa and create that channel on the right hand side. And again, we get to see that driven pass through the lines by Greenwood, on this occasion into Hemp, again creating that potential for a 1v1 against Laetitia, which of course long term will stretch this United backline, which is what we get to see here with Bunny Shaw using her strength and her power to get into a dangerous position on that left hand side, which eventually Battier helps to stop. And then from there we get to see a City corner kick. They did have various routines and try to take advantage of lapses in United's concentration. But I think key point to mention is just how many players they committed forwards in the latter stages. That's 1 point was not helpful for either team. Okay, so moving on to the 16th minute, we've got United here winning possession back after City have just played this long ball from a free kick due to United being offside. Letitia immediately plays that early ball looking to pit Paris against Wahhabi in transition, as Paris was really fired up for this game and Paris is able to win a free kick. Moving on to the 54th minute, we've got United building up in a 2-4 shape, although at this point we've actually got TuneIn having dropped into left CDM because Lad has dropped to more of a left back position. Note also the positioning of the two fullbacks here, with Battier extremely high up on this right hand side, so that United would potentially have that option of switching it out to her. United try and rotate the ball back on this left hand side but are forced into retreating, and just notice here how Zellem is pulling out towards the right back position rather than having Battier drop very deep on this right hand side. United play the ball down the right hand side, and with some really neat passing here by Battier into Paris dropping, we see a really slick move by United where Paris rolls her marker and is able to then fire a line and create a beautiful moment of transition as City's defense have been pulled towards the halfway line. Unfortunately for United, Toon is not the fastest player, so Esme Morgan's overcovering is really beneficial as she slides in here, which unfortunately for City puts the ball into Galton's path, as again she's swapped into that centre forward role, allowing Russo to be able to pull out into that left wing position. But unfortunately for United, Hemp is just insanely quick and is able to cover, preventing United having a scoring opportunity. And I just want to point out also that this was unlikely to be a penalty kick, whereas City actually had a much better shout in the 56th minute where Bunny Shaw is kicked by Lad here, and really if there was VAR, this is a penalty kick and potentially the whole game changes from there. Okay, moving on to the 28th minute, this is just after one of Zellem's corner kicks and Ellie Roebuck has been able to claim possession. She's thrown it out and City move into that 2-3 shape again with Esme Morgan already inverting. City are forced into retreating and we get to see that man marking in that 4-2-3-1 press where we've got one of the centre midfielders being aggressive, looking to trap City number 8 dropping, as well as also United's players marking all the short passing options here. City are able to get the ball back into Roebuck and set up again, but towards the right hand side. Unfortunately, Esme Morgan is forced into retreating to the goalkeeper again, but then we get to see that 2-3 with the inverted fullbacks and Ellie Roebuck essentially playing as that third centre back with your other two centre backs relatively wide. There's significant distance here between the two centre backs, which forces United's press into narrowing and creating those channels for City in those wide spaces, which is what we see Coombs here looking to try and take advantage of. Of course, with the likes of Zellem tracking Coombs into those wide spaces, that does create opportunities for Greenwood here to be able to fire a ball centrally for the other City forwards. On this occasion, sure, but she was tracked diligently here, absolutely clattered, and Zellem goes to win back possession, which in combination with Paris she manages to do, allowing United to set up back into that 2-4 shape. Now moving to the 65th minute. I know I shouldn't belabor the point, but this is off a City long ball which was just defended, and immediately United are playing a long ball towards this left hand side for Galton and Russo to contest, creating a 70-30 duel in favour of City, which City of course are able to win and get the ball back into their goalkeeper, setting up into what is essentially a 3-2 shape here with Esme Morgan as your right-sided centre-back, Angel Dahl and Hasegawa as your two centre defensive midfielders, and what essentially is an unchanged pressing shape by Manchester United. And here we see Coombs trying to take advantage of the space behind Zellem, who looked to try and put some pressure on Hasegawa. Fortunately for United, the pass was just too strong and United able to win the ball back and get Toon in possession in behind the midfield of City. Unfortunately for United, Toon chooses to play the most direct pass she can, and being that the pass is so straight, it is in City's favour and City's goalkeeper is able to sweep up. So if you've enjoyed the video, smash the like button, consider sharing it on social media, maybe subscribing. If you enjoy women's football analysis, have a look at our playlist, and with that, we're out.